Welcome back to the Rugby Abroad podcast. I'm here with Cookie Mafu for episode 10. It's great to be back with him because it's been a good few years since we were playing together down in Jersey in the Channel Islands. Cookie, how are you, mate? Great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cass. It's been a while, mate. Should be catching up soon, so thanks for having me.
Mate, no, absolute pleasure. Pleasure is all mine, in fact. And mate, it's going to be great to catch up with you. I know you've got a bit of a story to tell because I was there the first time you came overseas, all the way from Australia, and it was a hell of a move because I remember at the time you left the family behind to kind of come over to Jersey and start your career in the English Championship. But where did it all start before that? Where did rugby start for you?
Well, look, me and my brothers, we grew up playing in Sydney. And to be fair, we started off playing rugby league in the Balmain competition in New South Wales. Just playing, pretty much grew up playing junior rugby league there. And then went on to playing West Juniors in the West Harbour competition.
Yeah.
And then, eventually one thing led to another, playing a bit of shoot shield in Sydney. And then next thing I got the phone call and I was on a plane on the way to Jersey.
Nice, mate, nice. And you, like you said, your brothers are rugby players too. Did that impact you growing up? Or they're older brothers, if I remember right. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm number 3. I've got 2 older brothers and I have a younger sister. They're already here. They already established their rugby careers in Europe. At the time, I'm not really sure where Celestia was, my oldest brother.
Yeah.
And Campese was, I think he was playing over in France. But Campo spent some time over in the championship as well. And he told me that Jersey was a very good place. He'd been here a few times and he was pretty influential in getting me to come to Jersey in regards to the place, the team, what it was like as being an opponent against Jersey. So.
So it kind of helped having your brothers over here, I guess. Did it make it easier to make the decision to come abroad?
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously, you know yourself, Kat, I came over here pretty late in my career, but I wanted to make sure it was the right one. Obviously, if I was leaving my wife and my 3 kids behind. I wanted to make sure I was making the right decision. So, they told me a lot of good things about this place, even just being here, a few times here and there. So, mate, it's lovely. It's been good so far.
Awesome. And when you came over, if I get my facts right, you just come off the back of your first caps for Tonga, or was that a bit before? Because I know you mentioned your mum's Fijian and your dad is Tongan. And so did you because I know one of your brothers played for Australia and your other brother played for Fiji, and you've represented Tonga now, so it's kind of you had the choice kind of thing, or did you always know you were going to represent Tonga, or did the call just come? How did it work?
But it's very weird. Like Celesi, to be fair, he grew up through the system. He came up through the Waratah Academy and then made his way into the ACT Brumbies, then went professional from there. Yeah. Campese, however, on the other hand, me and Campese are kind of similar. We were just playing club rugby in Sydney, just going along with our thing, Yeah. And then he was poached by Fiji. So I don't think there was the intention for him to make that crossover, to just all of a sudden put his hand up for Fiji. It just happened all of a sudden. And with me, I kind of went through the system with Tonga first with the Tonga Sevens. Yeah. And that's how I got in the system there was a contact over in Sydney. He told me to give it a crack, and I just got a call one day, and the first tournament I went to was Adelaide. Yeah. So one week I was just training and they were like, can you get on a plane to go to Adelaide? I was like, yeah. You want to go play the Tonga Sevens? So straight from club rugby into the Sevens, and that's how it all started. So
nice. And then when were you expecting the call for the 15 side? And when did that happen? Was that just before you came over to Europe?
After I played a bit of Sevens for a while. That went on for a couple of years, to be fair. Yeah. And then, I spent some time playing Tonga A here and there. Then 2016, I got the call to come and play for Tonga. So that was a call, that was probably one of the best things that's happened to me. I didn't think that was ever going to come. Yeah. But I managed to get a phone call, and then I went over there, played 3 games to Tonga, and then within 2 or 3 months I got the phone call and I was eligible for a visa here in Jersey. So I was out of there 3 months.
So had you thought about moving abroad then before while you've been playing in Shoot Shield? Have you, because you said like your brothers were over there anyway, and was it something that you'd already considered like doing before something came up in Jersey, the Tongan stuff happened? Had you already thought about it?
Yeah, definitely. There was times I wanted to pursue a career in Europe, but yeah, like I, for as much as I wanted to, things just weren't going my way in terms of rugby and whatnot, and just off-field stuff. Like opportunities are coming up, and I wasn't the brightest kid growing up, but I had off-field dramas to deal with and things like that.
Sure.
But the opportunity eventually came. That was the main thing, and yeah, like by then I was already married, I had 3 kids, so I wanted to make sure it was the right thing, and if anything, I think it was the right timing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems to be the right thing because you're going into your 5th year at Jersey, which is a hell of a commitment to one place. So how are you finding? It's a little island. I know from experience. I was only there 1 year, but it's a little island, but it's really beautiful. Obviously, are you finding it? Are you loving it? Are your kids loving it? The family?
Man, look, to be fair, when I first came, the first time I came, I spent, how long were we living together? Like what, 4 months, 5 months, or whatever?
Yeah, for the second half.
Yeah, so I came here, and I wanted to just suss out the island and see what it was like first. And to be honest, man, I had nothing bad to say about Jersey. Jersey's such a wonderful place, especially for kids and families. And when Jersey eventually offered me to stay on a further 2 years, I couldn't turn it down. I felt like if there was anywhere I was going to move and bring my wife and kids over, this would be the first place I would do it to, because my wife comes from a very big, orientated family. They're just very close group, very lovely family.
Yeah.
And it was never going to be easy to, take her away from the family kind of thing, So coming to Jersey, I couldn't complain. It was lovely. So, but being from Sydney, you come to a place like this, you can feel like it's such a small place after a while, but lucky enough, if I make it on the away games, I'm getting through all right.
Yeah, cool. And obviously, being over in Europe was it the first time you were over in Europe as well?
Yeah. So I've been here before a few times, but this is the first time I've actually lived over here.
Nice. And have you been able to travel around with the family a bit while you've been in Jersey, to travel around Europe and visit and stuff?
Yeah, we've done. The first thing we did was go visit London properly. So we did London a few times. We've been up and around the UK. Been to France, spent some time in Paris. This off season, we was planning to go back home, but we were going to stop over in Dubai for a bit. But obviously, with the COVID-19 thing going on, so good old Jersey it is for these next few weeks.
Nice. No, yeah, but it's got the beaches and the sunshine, mate. You'll be all right.
Mate, you can't complain with this weather.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to ask you to give a little comparison for anyone that doesn't know the two competitions. You were playing for a while in the Shoot Shield in Sydney, and then playing in the English Championship. What can you give like a difference between the rugby itself and then the professionalism and both things, and how they compare for you?
Well, when I first came over here, I played a lot of Shoot Shield in first grade, and the first thing I noticed when I first came, my first game was against Doncaster Knights. And I don't know if I've told you this story, but I remember running out to the field at St. Peter's, and I didn't know what to expect. It was my first taste of European rugby. And so I've gone out to the field, done my warm-up. It's just your individual warm-ups, whatnot. So I'm warming up, and I look across to the other side, and as their players are running out, I'm looking at them and going, what in the world? The size of these guys are huge. Like, they were big. And that was the first thing I noticed about my opponents here in Jersey. I was thinking, my goodness. But I thought the same thing with my team when I first saw my teammates for the first time.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were there. And, I'm looking at my team. We've got back rows like Gary Graham, James Freeman, Nick Hayning, that back row alone, they're carrying some serious weight there. And I thought they were big. And then when I saw Doncaster's team, I was thinking, what have I just got myself into? So the first thing that stood out to me was the size of the people, like the players in Europe. And from the get-go, the kick-off, physicality, physical. The championship is such a physical competition. I cannot, there's no lying about it. It's just really direct, physical. I feel like I was playing against a lot of, if I could swear, it's just the C word, a lot of that. They're much just very aggressive, very, compared to Shoot Shield. One thing I do notice, if I'm playing Shoot Shield, within the first 20 minutes to half an hour, I probably would have touched the ball probably 7 times or 10 times. The game's so fast. In down south in Southern Hemisphere, they like to move the ball quite a bit. You get a lot of dry weather, so a lot of young guys, they're very fit. Like someone like it's a 27-year-old, you're probably counted as someone's a bit getting on in the competition.
So you're saying you would have passed the ball 7 times as well? I don't believe you.
Probably not pass. The ball would have came to me, just show and go. That's 1 carry, 2, 3, 4.
So 7 carries then in the first 20 minutes. Nice.
7 carries in the first 20 minutes. 7 show and goes.
Okay.
But the ball does move quite a bit in Shoot Shield. The skill level is pretty good as well in Shoot Shield. But I think Shoot Shield, probably the top 4 or 5 teams will go really good here in the championship.
Yeah. And how is it? Because obviously I was playing with you 5 years ago. How's it? The level of the championship, has it stayed pretty much the same as far as you're concerned, or has anything changed in the last 5 years? For me, looking from the outside, I feel like looking at, maybe it's just seeing highlights, I feel like the game's got faster in the championship. I don't know whether you agree or maybe I'm wrong.
I think it has, it is physically demanding, even off the field. You get quick turnarounds. There's a lot of rugby being played. That's another thing that in Europe you'd probably get. That's you can almost play 25 to 30 games a year. As in Shoot Shield, we're so used to the 18 games a season. Max, if anything. But I think the game has gone faster. There's new ideas being brought in, new coaches and whatnot before different teams, and everyone's just trying to find ways of, trying to improve the game kind of thing. So I think it's a matter of fact of just keeping up with the changes. But it's definitely getting quick, especially for me at my age. It doesn't get any easier.
Nice. And the off-field stuff, how, like your training programs and stuff. I know Jersey's renowned for being quite a grueling place to be in terms of off-field training. How does that compare to back home? Are they as strict with your regimes?
Yeah. You've spent one season. You've done a pre-season with Jersey. You know what it's like. It is very tough, but like for someone like myself I've done that for probably about four seasons now. You think about a 3-month preseason, it's just gonna literally you're gonna kill yourself. Yeah. So you just gotta take it day by day kind of thing. It isn't getting any easier, but it's good. We've got who's S&C Jim Maloney, who just wants the best out of us. He's pushing us constantly, challenging us, and when things get tough and you think you're just there, it just goes and it goes. It's like never ending,
Yeah.
But the preseason is very tough.
I mean, just from being there for a year, Jim Maloney was easily one of the most clued on guys when it comes to conditioning that I've worked with. Definitely, absolutely loved it.
There's no cunning corners around Jim. He's got eyes in the back of the ears. There's nothing worse than playing a full game on a Monday and you're coming in on Saturday and you're coming in on Monday and the first thing you see on the board in the gym is like 80% squats and you're just thinking to yourself, man, what have I just, how do I get out of this one?
Nice, no, but like you say, he's getting the best out of the players there. And compared to back home in Australia, have they got a similar training sort of programs and stuff? Because I know, just from comparing between France and England, I know that in France there's, from what I saw, there was a lot less focus on like big heavy weights and that's
Definitely.
sort of carried through, I think, into maybe a faster game. I thought maybe you were mentioning a faster game back home in the Shoot Shield. I imagine that maybe there'd be much more explosive programs to maybe reflect that. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed one thing. One of the most professional clubs I've been to is in terms of Shoot Shield was Randwick. I spent some time over at Randwick Rugby, and
Yeah.
they spend a lot of time focusing on power lifts, moving heavyweight quick.
Yeah.
As in, compared to something like where I am at the moment, it's more heavyweight strength, trying to build size and mass.
Yeah.
But our pre-seasons back at Randwick was a lot of running, a lot of fitness with the ball in hand, and our weights, to be fair, it wasn't as grueling as it here is in Europe.
Yeah. Nice, yeah. And so you're enjoying Jersey. 5th year coming up. Have you got plans to finish the career there, or have you got any other ideas to explore the rugby abroad and go to other places? What's your thoughts?
I'm just taking it season by season. I was very unlucky this year, the past season, to miss out. I played 2 friendly games, and then I tore my MCL and PCL and ACL, unfortunately. Missed out the season. And then, so there is parts of me that want to play on. I don't want to finish on these terms.
Yeah.
I want to keep going. I want to be able to hang the boots up knowing that I've given everything and I finished on my terms. I'm happy to move on. But I still have aspirations to carry on, regardless whether it be in UK. I've kind of got my eye on somewhere like Italy, where we would really love to move and just enjoy a bit of a lifestyle kind of thing, a lifestyle kind of change. But
yeah,
as time goes, only time will tell. We'll just see how things go.
Nice, man. And any advice for someone back home in Australia or wherever who was thinking about going abroad? Did you use an agent to get abroad, and what was that experience like? Was it an easy experience or?
No, see, I came over here pretty late in my career.
Yeah.
And you start to think, man, is it actually going to happen? Is this even going to happen? You're just plugging away, playing semi-professional. And then when NRC competitions come up, depending on the team, you can get a professional contract for about 3 or 4 months here and there. But it's kind of broken up. And then you're working 8 hours a day, plugging away 3 or 4 nights a week of training, playing on weekends, and you're just constantly chasing that dream,
Yeah.
But, look, I stuck to it. I think it's possible regardless, You just don't want to give up. You just keep going. And before you know it, you get that phone call. I had a few agents over in Australia. I had quite a few agents, to be fair. And, you spend some time with one and you start to think, man, is he doing his job? What's going on there? Man, you're constantly bugging him. And out of all the agents I had in Australia, the agent that actually got me the job in Jersey was an agent in England. So I don't know how that came about, but it happened. So you just do it.
It's a hard thing to navigate with the agents because everyone wants you to sign on with one, sign on with me and I'll get you this, sign on with me and I'll get you that. You know what I mean? You just got to be careful where you sign and who you're talking to. I guess a recommendation from a player you already know or something like that goes a long way. If it's someone you like say it was your brother working with an agent and he's then passed you on. I mean, you can't really go wrong there.
Man. All the players are always talking. We all talk between the club. You know what it's like, and guys are just passing chat on, and you kind of hear bits and bobs here and there, and you can kind of get a picture of who to trust, who not to trust, and then. But it's so easy to fall in the trap of you're seeing, say, an average player get a really good contract, and you're thinking, well, how did he pull that off? What's his agent's name? And then straight away you're trying to get that agent's number. If you can do it for him, you can do it for me, kind of thing,
Yeah, definitely. No, it's an interesting one because a lot of guys, well, certainly if I speak from my own experience, I used an agent for the first couple of years of my career, and then and I sort of got talked into signing with that agent. And as soon as I signed with the agent, I realized that, well, he's either forgotten about me or he's not doing his job or whatever. But he wasn't working for me. I was the one messaging him, chasing him all the time. And at the end of the day, he didn't get me what I wanted. And I went and got something myself. and there was some kind of like mini dispute around, well, I'm your agent, you sign with me, and well, the argument is you didn't actually do anything to help me. So when and that's not to say all agents are like that, because they're absolutely not. I've worked with some really great guys who really want to do the best for their players and help you out. But it's just you got to find what's right for you, I guess. But like when you're young, it's exciting to get that interest. Some agent comes and talks to you, and they say, "Look, I've seen your footage or something. I saw you play the other day, and thought you were really good. I think I can get you that." And it's hard not to have a second thought about who that guy is, and or whether he's the right option for you as a person and as a player. You know.
Oh, definitely. Like you often hear stories like young kids who get poached by agents, and it's so quick to feel that that set of importance that you're just like, oh man, like we're going somewhere here. Then they offer you a 5-year contract with an agent, and then you sign that, and then 2 years in, you're thinking, have I actually done the right thing? Like now I'm stuck with this guy for 5 years, and I'm already halfway, and we've spoken about 4 or 5 times, and what do I do now? And as you go, you start to learn the game. Yeah. And you mentioned yourself, like you've done some work for yourself and you found your own job. I think that's a common thing that's happening, and it even works. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're all rugby players. We're all our own business, and sometimes we've got to look after ourselves, kind of thing. Yeah, great. And I know quite a few boys who've gone down that road and pulled it off. Yeah. And I always thought, man, if I could pull it off that way, then I can. At the end of the day, if my contract comes towards the end of the season and I've got nothing, I can't put all my eggs in the one basket and just rely on the one guy. Yeah. If there's any contact or any kind of networking I can work behind the scenes, then obviously I'm doing the same thing.
No, exactly. I mean, not to just throw agents out completely to say that they're all not working in your interest, because like I said, there's a lot of guys that I've worked with that haven't been people that have wanted you to sign a contract immediately on talking to them. So that's where I'd ask questions, and that's where I wouldn't feel comfortable if they were like, well, I can only talk to you if you sign this contract and sign with me for 2 years. Whereas I'd much rather, as a rugby player and someone who's like you say, you're relying on your next job. It's your next job. You're looking after your young family. You're thinking about like essentially it's your living as much as the salaries aren't hyperinflated like in football. It's still an important part of your livelihood that we're talking about. So for me, it's much more interesting to work with someone who doesn't make me sign something, but that I get a good feeling with. And me as an honest person, and as a lot of guys are, and if someone really does a good job for you or does a bit of work for you, I don't see any reason why you'd then go behind his back and like sign with the club without sort of putting his... I'm sure there are cases where that's happened, and a club will say to a player as well, maybe that it's better if we don't use the agent, and maybe that's why some agents make the player sign. It's a two-way street. You probably
100%. Like I 100% agree. It can even be like it's either you're on one side or the other. It's like, can I sign with this agent and just trust that he's going to do it? Yeah. Or can me and the agent come to an agreement and he can say to me, look, I'll work for you, but you don't have to sign for me until I find you something. Yeah. And you're sitting there thinking, all right, is he actually doing things, or is he just sending my CV and just waiting? As in, you know what it's like being a player. You're thinking in your head, I want the agent to get off his backside. I want him on the phone 24/7 calling clubs. I want him giving me feedback non-stop, but at the same time, you're talking to previous coaches or whatnot, like, hey, man, you're looking for a centre there?
Yeah, exactly. It's tough to know to balance the two, especially when you're further down the line in your career, I think, because like you say, you've already got this network built up for you. You know a lot of players in different places, and they know the coaches. You can almost, like you say, manage your own business a bit. But I think maybe there is a safety net with an agent that when it comes to talking about contract length, money, and all those things, which can be uncomfortable when you're talking to clubs, maybe for the first time, because like you say, you're coming from a semi-professional environment to a professional one. I can imagine that it might be uncomfortable to have the conversation around money, and so getting a sort of third party, an agent involved might relieve some of that awkwardness.
Yeah, definitely, because if I'm like someone like myself, it was a matter of fact of getting myself over, getting my wife and 3 kids over here. Then you're thinking about, okay, now that we're here, we actually, I mean, before we even come here, we need visas. So there's your first problem, and then you got your hurdle of you need someone that knows how to negotiate visas. So you need visa. By the time you get here, you got to sort out schools. You need a place to live. Where can I put my kids to school? Where am I going to stay? You know, like all little things like that. And at the same time, you're trying to be the best you can be to do the job that you've been given. You know what I mean? You want to perform. And being a professional rugby player, you know, for as much as the more you're at peace off the field, the better you perform. Definitely. So I've been a big believer of that. So if I can obviously get a bit of help from behind the scenes with a good agent that does all that stuff, so I can just do my thing, then you're already there. You know, you're halfway there.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to someone actually in a Spanish interview the other day, and he works in a club now. He's retired from playing, or semi-retired. He still plays for like the team's old boys team, but he was talking about. He's on the other side of it. So he's the one who's receiving the players from abroad and managing the way that they settle quickly and stuff. And so I just wanted to ask how you found that in Jersey. Obviously, you were chucked into a house with me and a couple of other guys. But was that easy? Could the club have done a better job of handling the way they brought in players from so far overseas as Australia? You're talking about a massive move. A lot of clubs don't really have the structure in place to bring in these players, make them feel comfortable straight away, and maybe it's a process that's evolving or getting better.
In fairness to me, I kind of. My situation was I was an injury replacement. So before I agreed to this contract, I was told, look, this was about October, and they said to me, look, we've got a few injuries. We need you here, but we need an answer. And if your answer is yes, we're going to get you here as soon as possible. And then I was like, okay, well, I might need at least 10 days to pack up my life and say goodbye to and sort out my family. They were like, oh, well, we're really sorry, this business here, we need you here as soon as possible. Like, you're literally coming on an injury replacement ASAP.
Yeah.
So basically, and I'm sitting there, my wife and kids, and I've got a full-time job, and I'm thinking, I've got to make a decision in the next 10 hours if I'm going to do this or not. And if I am, I've got to get my wife to understand the situation and just go with it. So we sat down and had a really good talk about it, and I just said, look, just to my wife, I said, look, just give me this one shot. Okay, this is the dream. This is the phone call I'll be waiting for. Give me this one shot. I'll sign to the end of the year. I'm going to move over there and just give it my best shot. So my wife jumped on board with me. So then when I flew over here to Jersey, they put me in a house with yourself, James McKinney, Kez Hardy. And to be fair, I was, having the right group around you, and I had a few Islander boys as well, that really helped with settling in. But I never forgot the reason why I was there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I think if you've got a good set of environment around you, like I was very lucky and fortunate to have someone like yourself who we can kind of relate in a way. We spend a lot of time at cafes just talking shit about random stuff. But it's little things like that, because when you're not at the club, you're really bored. And then there could be times where I'm just constantly thinking about my family. And then you see other guys who've done similar commitments, and you feel like, all right, I'm not alone in this. I've got a few months just to get through this. But I think Jersey, as a club, looked after me pretty well on the transition over here. I was happy to be rewarded that extra contract. Yeah. But look, there's nothing bad I could say. Like, I think they did everything. Like, there were times I'll speak to Harvey, the DOR at Jersey, about just personal things, and he was always there for me. And he always guaranteed me, look, if there's anything you need, just come and speak to me. We can sort something out. I can't promise you the world, but I will help you, because I understand you've got a family, a wife back home. It's never easy. So it's pretty good.
No, I guess it's so key to have that support network. Like you said, I bet it was a tough conversation with your wife when you said spoke to her about going abroad, and obviously it was for you, it was like a big opportunity, this once in a lifetime thing maybe. And I guess it's kind of paid off because she jumped on board. The family's there now, I guess, enjoying life, and so it was a great move in the end. So it's great to see all.
Man, they're loving it. They're loving it here. You know, like obviously you showed me this place. You showed me what it was like here. Within a week, I was like, man, this place would love. You know, my wife and kids would love this place. But ever since you've been here, the worst thing is about it, she doesn't want to leave. Like, she loves this place so much. I'm like, I kind of want to see what's out there kind of thing. But they love this place, you know.
No, yeah, it's good. And I think the club seems to be in a good place. Like, despite the funding cuts from the RFU and stuff, and despite the COVID-19 and the problems that clubs are having with like bringing in revenue and stuff, Jersey seems to be staying full time. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but whereas a lot of championship clubs are taking the plunge and going part time. I know Bedford and London Scottish and a couple of others. I think Nottingham are all go, and I guess it's a great. Is it, would you say, like, lucky place to be, Jersey? Because they seem to have their heads screwed on in terms of the sporting side of things.
Look, I think we are very lucky. But in saying that, you know, it goes to show that all the hard work that's actually going on behind the scenes in terms of the admin and stuff, like Mark Morgan, our chairman, and Harvey himself, the DOR, right up to the people working in the offices, tirelessly working just to... You know, because they understand. They've got a group of 35 professional players. Most of us have family. These are livelihoods. So they're doing everything they can to keep us, providing for ourselves or our families or whatnot. So it's a big credit to them. And
great.
I feel I'm in a lucky place. So, you know, it is what it is. So, like, you know, credit to them.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. You mentioned the house when we first moved to Jersey, and we were obviously living with Kieran Hardy, and I wanted to give him a mention because I did mention to him a few weeks ago that I might.
Don't do it.
I might get him on the podcast at some point, but any comments? I mean, I spent a year with him. You spent 2, I think, and obviously he's going from strength to strength. He was at Jersey back obviously when I was there, and then moved back to his home club, which was Scarlets. Yeah. And he's going from, seems he's close and pushing at the Wales international squad. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Little kids, mate.
little kids with the big biceps.
Would it be pushing it to say we taught him everything he knows?
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, like I think it takes you know, we spend a lot of time with Kieran, you know, helping him get fit and stuff like that. But you know, it's Kez is a freak. If I'm honest, he's a freak. He's a fitness freak. He loves his fitness. Yeah, he's a professional. He's super professional. But
no, mate, I think he was 19 when he was there, and he was the one getting me into shape more than anything. Like. It was
both of us. If anything, we were the bad influence. I can't forget those times of just, come on, Kieran, let's do it, man. Just KFC, boss. Let's just do it for one night. You know, it's like he's got to like go way out of his way just to have like a bad chicken or something like that. But I love Kieran. I've got plenty of time for Kieran. He's an ultimate professional. Yeah. And the good thing about us, we got to see a different side of Kieran. You know, like we got to see Kieran at home. For as much as he was big-hearted on the field, you know, he's scared of like scary films. You know, he's scared to watch that he films in the dark. You know, like it's good to spend some time with guys like that. So
yeah, sure, and it's great to see him going from strength to strength, like I was saying, because pretty much every time I check the Scarlet score, he's scored a try every week. I don't know what's going.
I'm not surprised. To be fair, the last year he was here at Jersey, the way he played, I was thinking, man, we're not going to keep him long. In fact, he had the opportunity to leave the year before. Yeah. But I think it was his choice to spend another year in Championship and just play so he can get more game under his belt. And it actually did pay off, and he signed pretty early in the year with Scarlets. Yeah. And to see him go from the one thing to the next, you know, it's good. It's good to see that myself and your work is actually paying off.
I don't know. I think I might just not get him on now. Just we'll leave it at that. Our work has paid off.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I don't know if going from Wales to Jersey counts as playing rugby abroad, but maybe I can justify like the short travel time. It was on a plane, so I guess anyone playing in Jersey can get on the podcast, no problem. No, Cookie mate, I really appreciate your time, conversation, time out from the family, your honesty, because that's absolutely key in these kind of conversations. I wanted to ask you just one sort of final topic, and that's about like the whole stress of moving abroad. I was talking to a sports psychologist last week on the podcast, and we were talking about just the difficulties of especially having a family abroad, and you've obviously got your ready-made environment, which is the rugby environment, but you've got to worry about your family, and you're sort of their network into having a whole fulfilling life in a foreign destination, you know. So how is that like in moving abroad? Is there a big stress for you and mentally, or is it something that you just take in your stride? I like to think I take that kind of thing in my stride. I'm moving it. I've been in a lot of different clubs, more than Tiger. No, I'm joking. More than Tiger. But no, jokes aside, I like to think that it's something I take in my stride and don't get too caught up in the stressful side of it. But having my wife with me it does bring a different sort of feeling to the whole situation, and it means that there's a pressure, responsibility to make sure that she's also having a good life and is enjoying herself as well. So is that, do you enjoy that pressure? Is it something you take in your stride, or does it become stressful at times?
Like obviously you said yourself, like the amount of pressure that our partners can go through, but most importantly for me, I got to commend my wife on making the jump with me to Jersey, because it's never easy trying to talk to you, trying to get your partner on board or whatever. But she's been phenomenal and in fairness, I've been selfish, to chase my dreams, and I'm asking my wife to follow me across the other side of the world. Whoever knew she was going to marry a rugby player that just wants to go and play in Europe and drag his whole family to leave their lives and their dreams. Sure. So I'm blessed to have her on my side, and I'm really blessed to have a team. Me and my wife, my 3 kids, and trying to balance rugby in between. Like the thing with me is my oldest daughter, she's old enough to know we've left our home, which was back in Australia. And when we came here, she never wanted to leave. And to this day, she's still talking about when are we going to go back to Australia.
Yeah, that's hard.
So it's those small conversations you got to have outside of, when you're at home with your family. And it's it can get a bit personal. And then you got the other 2 kids, Celestia and Montana, who just love being in Jersey, who love going to the beach every single day. And Arietta, my oldest daughter, no matter how much her day is going well, she's always thinking about her favourite auntie, Melanite there, who's back in Australia at the moment. She's just, I want to go back to my auntie, and she's writing letters and non-stop. Yeah. But I think having a happy home is key for me to do what I do each and every day. It's important to make sure my family is happy, regardless of what it is, no matter how small the situation is. If they're happy, then I can do what I can do. I can do whatever it is I'll do to the best of my ability. But it isn't easy. It's never easy. Like, I could have ended up in a small place in the middle of France where no one speaks English, where there's extremely no foreigners, and then I'm at the rugby club and my wife has to go to a doctor that doesn't speak English, and it's those small barriers, it's those little things they can actually take for granted. And it kind of hit us when we went to Paris, realizing that not many people speak English. And my wife and I were speaking in the hotel one night, we're thinking, we actually are lucky to come to a place where people speak English, because I don't think it would have been the same if we had ended up in the middle of who knows where in France. Yeah. And you want to go to a doctor about, seeing one of the kids or whatever, and no one speaks English. But I think, we've hit the lottery of coming to somewhere like Jersey where the people are friendly, and the network of people that my wife has outside of rugby, like at the school. She's got a lot of friends at the schools, and she's finally starting to get on her feet. Now she's starting to work, and she's doing it just to have a network outside of rugby, you know what I mean? So I think that's key, is just having that balance. At rugby, a rugby player, but I'm home. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I have to give my attention to my family. So that's been if anything, they've been my biggest inspiration into me chasing my dreams. So the whole experience of us being here is probably the best thing. So we're really enjoying it.
Nice, man. I think that's a beautiful way to end this episode 10 of the Rugby Abroad podcast. Dude, I thank you for your time again, and it's a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully we can get you on again at some point for another catch-up when the next season started, whenever it does, because I know there's not really plans to at the moment.
We'll see, man. We're fingers crossed we're starting anytime soon, so
yeah.
Whenever it starts, I'm ready to go. But thanks a lot for having me, Sam. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Cookie. Take care, my man. Cheers.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye. You can subscribe to the podcast at rugbyabroad.com. Thanks for listening in, and I hope you join me for the journey.